All right, good evening, family. Welcome again to another broadcast of Off Plantation Radio. So glad that you guys can join us this wonderful evening of April the 13th, 2023. And so glad that you guys can join us. We'll be starting here momentarily here. We're just getting ready for the broadcast here. We're just giving people time to get ready and to get themselves together. Make sure you get your drink, get you something to eat. Sit down and relax as we go ahead and take a look at the news for this evening, all right, for this week. And so, yeah, we'll be going ahead and going forward here just in a few moments, okay? You're listening to Off Plantation Radio. You can also catch the audio version of this a little bit later at the conclusion of the broadcast on SoundCloud, on our SoundCloud page. Do a search on SoundCloud for Journeyman and Woman Radio, and you will find the backup the audio version of all the past broadcasts that we've done, the podcasts that we've done in the past, past recordings of Issachar online. Man, anything audio we got on there, we got a lot on there. Check it out again. That's soundcloud.com. That's where you'll find all of our audio broadcasts there as well. Okay, we'll be starting here momentarily. All right, just as a reminder, we're not only just broadcasting here on YouTube, we're also simultaneously broadcasting live over on mybondtube.com. You got the address there on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. mybondtube.com. That's where we're broadcasting there as well. You can catch us over there. Again, we'll be starting here well under a minute, under 30 seconds. We're going to go ahead and jump in and get started there, okay? All right, welcome again to another broadcast of Off Plantation Radio. So glad that you guys can join us here this wonderful evening of April the 14th. Wow, I'm time traveling here. April the 13th of 2023. So glad that you guys can join us here, and hope you're having a wonderful day here. The weather here has been lovely. It's been lovely here, man. I tell you, it's getting a little bit warmer here. So you're going to see me tonight as I'm running my mouth. You're going to see me with my little thing here, man. They got warm up in here. I ain't even turned I just turned the AC on. How about that? And I saw how hot it was in here. I was like, oh, snap. I need to turn the AC on. And I love my children. I tell you, I love them. They don't be complaining at all. And they were like, I said, I know it was hot in y'all room last night. And they were like, yeah, but it was okay. It was all right. We had the window open. I thought you'd love it like that. They don't be like, Dad, I need you. No, no. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay. I said, you know what? Instead of it being 80 degrees, it will be 79. How about that? That'll be your reward for that. No, I ain't like that. No, but they, so yeah, I just turned it on, man, and I'm gonna have to check the filter and all that, make sure all of that's legit. I'll check that tomorrow and make sure everything's, free and clear on that. But yeah, man, that thing jumped tonight, man, today. But it was so beautiful earlier today. Went out for a bike ride, and this is the time of the year when I do go out, like during the wintertime, man, I'm walking in the woods and love it. Why? Because ain't no bugs out there. But when it starts getting warm, that's when all the bugs of the bug verse decide to all converge on top of my head for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's some energy that's coming out of my head. I don't know. But they be tapping on my head and getting near my ears and trying to get in like it's a party or something like that, like it's a club or something. And these are the two doors, the side doors they be trying to get in my ears. I'm like, y'all leave me alone. I'm just trying to walk. I'm trying to, and they just be all up in there, And so I can't take it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to switch gears today, literally. And I did a bike ride today, and that was very nice. It felt so wonderful. And I took a different route. I went a little bit. There's a horse farm not too far from here. And I was riding next to the horse farm and all that. And I saw the people. It's a beautiful horse farm, by the way. It's really nice. They got like the full track and everything. They must do some kind of training there, or rehabilitation or something. I don't know. It's very nice. And road was very nice and all that. Then I saw a little hill up there, and I was like, I should be good. And because it didn't look like nothing. I drive, every now and then I drive up. There's nothing in the car. But man, when you get on that bike, I was like, okay, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it up here. And I said, I ain't stopping. No, I'm going to push up here. And, and I was like, you know what, doggone it. I said, I haven't done this in a while, but I made it up there, though. I got to that stop sign, and I stopped there and I stopped, and I stayed there for a minute. I said, let me figure things out here for a second. Left leg, you okay? Right leg, you doing all right? Okay. Heart, you doing all right? Okay, we doing good? All right. Let's just sit here for a moment and get ourselves together, okay? We're just going to make sure and take in all of nature here for just a second. Then we're going to go ahead and go back, okay? So, yeah, that's what we did. And because it was something going up that hill, but it was nice, though. It was very, very nice. And it was just a beautiful time just to be out, in nature as always. And that's what I be encouraging y'all to do all the time. Get out here in nature, man. As much and as often as you can. I've been getting out there, man. The sun has been getting brighter. I've been laying out there, man, sitting out there in the morning time and just taking it all in. I feel it all in my skin. Feel it, man. I feel it. Man, I feel it, man. It's when you just out there. Today I was only out there for like 15 minutes, though, because it was getting warm. Because usually what I do is I lay out there, sit out there. I say lay. I ain't laying. I'm sitting. And, and I'm sitting out there. Just laying my head back or whatever. And then I get my, then after I finish my round of just taking it all in, I got to get my mangoes. It's Thursday, so it's farmer's market day. So I went and got my mangoes, boy. I got my mangoes. I be sitting out there in that sun, eating that mango, boy. And sometimes I have to be sitting out there taking it all in. And it's just so wonderful, just to be out there. And then after I spend my time out there, then I can come in and be like, okay, now let me focus and get my thing. Let me get things going here. And yeah, that's a great way to start your day. No phone. I mean, I get on my phone for a minute if I got to answer somebody or, take care of something real quick. But other than that, I don't try to bring my phone. I don't try to be on my phone at all, when I'm out there. And it's just quite peaceful. I keep saying this, family. I keep telling y'all to do this. It ain't just because, oh, this nice, that's so cute that you're telling me that. No, I'm saying this because especially if you're dealing with any kind of ailments, sicknesses in your body, you want to make sure, family, that you're getting plenty of sunlight. I'm going to keep telling you this. Because I'm gonna tell you, when you look at, you think I'm stupid. You think I'm making some of this stuff up. You think this is some woo-woo stuff. Okay, well, you take a look outside. I want you to point to me how many of them trees out there suffer from high blood pressure. Well, they don't have blood, Dwayne. Okay, high sap pressure. Okay, how about that? How many trees out there do you know suffering from high sap pressure? I don't know any. Okay, now, do trees get diseases and stuff? Yes, they do. Absolutely. And they can be, once you figure out what it is, that most cases they're easily treatable. All right, most of the time. Sometimes you just got to cut them joints down, but most of the time they're easily treatable. And so, but what is the thing that they get the most? Sunlight and water. All right. So this is why we got to make sure that we're taking in as much as we can. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you get in sync with his creation. You know what I'm saying? By doing just that, exposing yourself to that as much as you can. All right. Not getting crazy with it. I mean, if it's over 100 degrees out there, I ain't saying stay out there for 7 hours. You're going to kill yourself. Don't do that. You know what I mean? But you want to make sure you're getting out there, family. Listen, these doctors even know. They tell our older people, our seasoned citizens, they tell you if you're dealing with some kind of sickness or ailment, you know, they tell them all the time, depending on what it is, they'll say, listen, you need to move out west, because there's a lot of sun out there. You need to go out there. You need to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And get as much sun as, or move to Florida or something like that. Typically is out west, because they'll tell people, well, you know, out west is a dry heat. Well, what's a dry heat? I've lived out there before, family. Once you get to a certain degree, it don't matter. Ain't no dry, humid, wet, whatever you call it. It don't even matter at a certain point. It really doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It really doesn't. So, but doctors even understand the importance of our bodies getting this. Now, they won't tell you that. Why? Because it's free. That's why. So my challenge to especially our brothers and sisters out there, the sound of my voice, if you're dealing with something like a high blood pressure, this is what I want you to do. All right. I want you to do this. All right. Just try it out. Just try it out. I want you to try it out. If you're not getting your daily dose of sunlight, what I want you to do is to do that. Do at least a half an hour a day, or do it at least a half an hour. Right? It ain't got to be, you ain't got to do a whole hour. I'm talking about where you are getting it on your face. All right. I know for some of you, I'm out there and I'm gardening. That's good. Yeah, you're out there. I'm talking about where you're just sitting there in a chair, and you just sitting back and getting that beautiful sunlight on your face. All right. Do it for 15 minutes to a half an hour. All right. Do it for about a week. And I want you to start off the week measuring your blood pressure. All right. And then at the end of the week, I want you to measure your blood pressure again. And I want you, at the end of the week, I want you to write me, email me, and let me know if there's been any changes, good or bad. All right. Now, here's the catcher. Don't do that and then be eating cheesesteaks all week, okay? Because that ain't going to work, okay? That don't count, all right? Because that's just a zero sum. You ain't going to get nothing out of that, all right? But I'm just saying, just start off with that. You ain't got to do anything else. But there's herbs and stuff. How about black seed oil? Okay, do that too. You can do that too if you want. Do it. But sunlight, that's what I want you to try. All right. Now, whether or not you take your medication, that's up to you. All right. But at least do that in addition to, or without, whatever you feel comfortable with. I want you to make sure you get at least 15 minutes to a half an hour of sunlight. All right. And if you can, someone said I would do sunlight if the weather in my area would stop rain. Yeah, I know. I know. I know it too. Yeah, when we get those stretches of time where it just keeps raining and stuff, I understand. Yeah. So if you're in an area like that, I completely understand. Don't worry. Your time is coming. All right. Don't worry. But for those of you who are dealing with high blood pressure, especially you, I want you to see if you can measure the difference. Give it a week. Give you 1 week. All right. And then let me know about it and tell me what you see, if you see any noticeable difference. All right. Another thing that I have been doing is, I'm in the middle of doing this as well. Let me see if I can get this up here. I'm going to go to our Samba Tree YouTube page because there was a video that I uploaded there. Hold on for a second. Samba Tree. All right. Did I do it on the YouTube page? Let me see. Look under shorts. Oh, yeah. Did I play this? I thought I played this. Anyway, let me pull this up. Maybe I played it. Maybe I didn't. Okay, so this is the Samba Tree YouTube page. So if you don't know about it, now you do. All right, so go ahead and subscribe to it. We're at 778. I think I need 1,000 for something. I don't know. So let's see if we can get more subscribers over there so I can get whatever unlocked I need to get unlocked there. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed, go ahead and do me a favor. Just subscribe to it, okay? And so that we can get to that 1,000. I don't see why we can't hit that easily. All right. But I want to show you this video right here. It's a 1 minute video. I'm sure you got time for that. I know you see that. Oh, did y'all? Okay, good. Y'all see that. There's a video that I bookmarked. I hope it doesn't come up tonight because I'm like, what the heck am I looking at? Anyway, so just to let you know, I ain't into that stuff. It looks crazy. But anyway, I don't know what these people be doing. Anyway, let me go ahead and get this up here. Let me play this video for you, okay? It's this one right here because, yeah, I'll be putting up shorts up here too. Take a listen. Let's take a listen to what this sister is saying here.
Now, a lot of you have asked me to demonstrate. Now, I'm going to show you, this is a castor oil that I use. It is organic, cold pressed, and hexane free. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to take a Q-tip and I'm going to rub it across my eyelid. Okay, across my eyelid, and I'm going to go across the other eyelid. I'm going to do underneath as well. You want to do this before you go to bed because the castor oil will start to seep into your eyes and then it will become blurry. So if you do it when you're about to go to sleep, you don't have to worry about the blurriness. Now, it's going to take about 3 days to see an effect, but it will seep in. It'll start to relieve the inflammation. If you have cataracts, it will start to help with that. In your vision, it will definitely do it. I have 40% loss in my left eye, and I have not had to wear my glasses since I've been doing this. So do this right before you go to bed and do it for 3 days consistently, and you will be okay. Now you can get it up there. I can't say it because they don't like you to say it, but up there, go get your castor oil.
All right, listen. So I've been doing this. All right. So I'm going to tell you straight up. Okay. If you ain't doing or whatever. Now for her is saying 3 days. All right. She's saying 3 days. You'll start noticing something. Okay. For some people, I will say, because I've been looking, I ain't just going by one video. I had to really look into that. I had to look into it. I had to find out, okay, I had to find out, okay, this is just one person saying this? Let me see what other people are saying and all of that, right? Because, if you do a search on, I'm going to tell you how crazy. Never, ever, ever do a search on Google. If you're feeling a little something or if you notice something strange about your body, the worst place to go is Google. Because they will always tell you got cancer. Always. I got a headache. Let me do a search. If you got a headache, what could this be? Well, you probably got cancer. And you're probably going to die soon. I'm telling you, don't do it. So my daughter said, Dad, you got a little dent on the back of your head here. Where'd that come from or whatever? And so I was like, well, what the heck? I never noticed I had a dent in the back of my head. So I did a search on that and they were like, if you notice you got a dent in the back of your head, then chances are you're not getting enough water or you might have bone cancer. I was like, oh, Lord, what is this? So I said, honey, where's my soup? Anyway, so she came and she was like, no, Dwayne, she said, no, you got, it's on both sides of your head. But anyway, she said, yeah, you've always had that. Like it's a small indentation you'll see on two sides. It's been there since age immemorial, whatever. It's been there. So it ain't nothing new. It was just the way the light was hitting it. My daughter just was looking and I just like cut my hair or whatever. So, but I'll tell you, they be scaring you on stuff, right? So you got to check. You got to be careful out in these streets. You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful out on these streets, man, on these social media streets. People be telling you stuff and you be thinking all kinds of stuff. Even the people that recommend things that are good for you. that, like herbs and stuff like that, you got to check that stuff out. You know what I'm saying too? And so anyway, so I did do a little checking. I'm still doing some checking on it, but I have been doing you get this castor oil, and just like she described, what she said, what you do is you get that castor oil and you put it on top of your eyelid and put it up here on the bottom. You make sure you do it before you go to bed. Okay. Don't do it in the middle of the day, because your eye's going to be blurry. Okay. You don't want to do it then. All right. You don't want to do it then. You want to do it doing your, someone said, love shopping at Samba Tree. Oh, well, we love that you shop at the Samba Tree. Thank you. Anyway, so thank you, Jackson family. Wait, whoa, is it the Jackson family? The Jackson? No, I'm just playing. But yeah, one day it said, I would be dead reading that mess, talking about on WebMD. Oh, yeah, then I don't be searching nowhere. I keep skipping. I'm telling you. So anyway, so I have been doing it. I've been doing it for about 3 days. And I will say this. I definitely have been noticing a slight change. Positive. But it's very slight. But I'm still going to keep doing it, though. Like I said again, now she's saying for her, it was 3 days. Now I start listening, and then I was going to other people and what they were saying. I've seen quite a few people saying, my doctor told me that I don't even need to wear my glasses anymore. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I saw one person said that he had cataracts in both of his eyes. And he said he's been doing it for, I think he said about a month. And he said he's noticing that now what's happening is it's starting to clear up. And it's almost like the cataract is starting to come off of his eye. Now, I'm just telling you what these people were saying, all right, on their own videos. So all I'm telling you is you do your own research. And all I'm telling you is I'm doing it myself, okay? And yeah, I'm trying it myself, and I will definitely let you know. So, because what I'm doing is a combination of putting that on my eye at night. And see, the thing I like about it is when you put it on your eye, once I put it on my eye, ain't no more phone for me. The phone is gone. I cannot, like I said, my eyes must be closed after that. Once I put it all on my eye, I'm done. Don't even talk to me, because if you can't talk to me, but my eye's gonna be closed, because it doesn't burn. It's just, you don't want to open your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Because castor oil is quite sticky. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you just coat it on top of your top eyelid and bottom one. Don't open your eyeball and put it on there. Don't do that, okay? Don't be crazy now. Don't do that. And what it does is you put it on your lid, and during the night it will go through your lid, because your skin up here is porous, and it goes through there, and it's gonna reach your eye in its own way like that, and it's gonna start doing what it needs to do. You understand? So I'm gonna keep doing it, and I will be reporting and letting you know. I'm doing a combination of that, and also I'm doing sun gazing. I'll talk about that too. All right. I'll talk about that too. And now what they tell you is when you do sun gazing, what is sun gazing? That's when you go out and you pray to the sun and say, oh, no, that's not sun gazing. Because I know I already got some folks out here thinking that. No, ain't nobody, that ain't sun gazing. Sun gazing means exactly what it says. It means you're looking at the sun. Now, what they tell you is that in the morning time, when the sun first comes up, that's when you can actually look straight into the sunlight, into the sun. Now, I don't do it because where I am, we got too many trees. So by the time the sun, I'm able to see the sun in a clear sky, it's about 9 o'clock or whatever. So I ain't staring at no sun like that. But what I am doing is looking around the sun. I'm looking around it. That's what I'm doing. I'm not looking at the sun. I'm looking around it, because I want as much sunlight safely in my eyes as possible, because when it goes into your eyes, that direct sun, remember now, you're not looking at the sun at that time of the day. In the morning, it's still pretty safe. But once you start getting it high noon, early afternoon, you don't want to do that, because now you're going to start talking about damage. So if it's in the morning, what I do is, like I said, again, I'm looking around the sun. just looking around it. I'm not looking. You don't want to look directly at it. That's totally fine. All right. And so you want to get that right in. You want to get as much sunlight in your eye as possible, because that goes in right in your brain area, right into that main area in the center there. It gets all in there, and it hits all your key points in your body and all that. And yes, you want to do that, and you want to do that on the regular. All right. And what that does is, with that sunlight, it just keeps everything in sync. You know what I mean? So I had one person tell me that, they had a cold, and they were, so they said they sat out in some sunlight, and they said before long, that cold was on. They felt much better. So these are simple things, family, that, they're not going to promote. They're never going to promote this. These devils will never, ever promote this stuff, because it's free. That's why they up there spraying. You want to know why they up there spraying the sun? Because they know how powerful it really is. And by doing that, by covering up the sun, and I see them just about every morning, y'all. Not every morning. Some mornings I guess they run out of spray to put up there. But some mornings I see them up there. They got all this sky, but they'll make sure they're spraying right around that sun area. Always. So yeah, so getting that in your eyes, that sunlight, that's why I said, especially, so if you're dealing with that high blood pressure thing, yeah, you want to make sure you're getting that sunlight, not just on you, like you may be out there gardening. That's great. That's a good thing to do. But you also want to make sure you're taking some time when you're sitting back and you just looking around the sun, okay? Like I said, again, if it's getting in that noonish area right before noon, you want to make sure you're looking around. Do not look in the sun. All right, not during that time of the day. Now, towards the evening, as the sun is going down, they said, yeah, you can look at it around sunset. They said you can look right at the sun if you want to. All right, so that's what they say, but again, I'm in a place where because there's so many trees, I would have to literally get on my roof to see it at that point, or live in California, and look at the sunlight from there. So, but yeah, as much sunlight as you can in your eyes. Because again, this was something I was going to touch on in one of the earlier broadcasts I did. It was for Samba tree. Now, this is very important, because again, you're dealing with a natural frequency wavelengths that you're getting. The same frequencies that are emitting from the sun is making the grass green, the trees to grow, the birds. You want to be in sync with all of that. All right. So what happened was the devil said, I'm going to come up with my own lighting scheme. All right. My own source of light. So in comes Thomas Edison in the game. So that's when they came up with AC voltage. All right. We did a whole video about AC voltage and what that's all about, and the frequencies that come from AC voltage, not DC. Direct current. Direct current is what you see in nature. That's natural. AC, which is alternating current, which is different frequencies. These people are able to manipulate it in such a way where what can happen is, if they want you to feel depressed, for example, if you're a type of person that work in the office all day, and when you come out of the office and you wonder why you feel so depressed, it's because of the frequencies that are coming out of these AC alternating current lights. All right. So just like on your phone, same thing. You know how people were getting all depressed during the lockdowns and stuff like that? What were they doing? You on your phone all day, and you on your phone looking at stuff. You know why they say depression is so high amongst people who use their phones a great deal? You know what I'm saying? You know why it is that? It's because of the fact you're staring at this voltage that's coming out of here, and in the wavelengths of the voltage, they can transmit anything. Okay, so for this week, we want people to feel depressed. So we're going to make sure that the frequencies that's coming out of these phones are in such a way where it's going to make people feel a certain way. Oh, family, they are light years ahead of a lot of people. See, everybody been talking about 5G and all that stuff, and that's something you should be concerned of. But family, I'm talking just in regular AC voltage, and the frequency that's emitting out of that, they can make you feel all kind of ways. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, when you go into the club, well, none of y'all better not be going in no club. I better not catch on. I'm just playing. But you know how, when you go in the club and the lighting that's in the club, you feel some kind of way, don't you? You be like, yeah, man, you feel some kind of way in it. Why? Because the frequency that's coming from that light is making you feel that way, right? Or, you going, in the club, it can be strip club, whatever. Bar, same thing. If you go into a stadium, the lights are different. So you're going to feel a certain way. The frequency that's coming from these lights are aiding in how you feel. They play a good role. They play a major role in that. Family, these are things, I'm not just making this stuff up. This is what they do. They've been doing this stuff. Do you know that, and we showed a video about this a while back, where do you know that they initially, when they first made light bulbs, after Edison and again, they start making light bulbs. Light bulbs were designed to last for years and years and years and years and years and years. They were designed to last pretty much forever. And they were lasting for a long time. But these devils got together and they said, well, if we make light bulbs that can last forever, then we ain't going to make no money. So we're going to make it we're going to manipulate it in such a way where it's, where people going to have to go back and buy some more. So that's with the incandescent lights, all right, where you're dealing with the gas in there and all that, right? But now with the LED lights, you got to now, unfortunately, I'm using LED up in here. I for these little stage studio lights or whatever, I'm using that. If there's any other options, I'll be looking for one. But LED lights. Now, LEDs, an LED is basically those small little tiny lights, right? Them little tiny lights. You've seen the LED, right? If you ever looked at your remote and the little red light, well, that's an LED light. And LEDs are designed to not only provide light, but also to broadcast frequency. All right. I went to school for this, so I know. Okay. They're designed to broadcast certain frequencies. You can actually go in and tune it in such a way where it's flashing at such a high rate, you can have it transmit anything you want. LED lights. And you have LED lights out here now that can actually transmit and receive data. So you have LED lights that act, that work alongside, or in some cases even emit Wi-Fi signal. All right. So if they're able to transmit and receive data like that, what do you think they're transmitting and receiving to you? Transmitting to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So especially LED lights, you want to stay away from as much as you can. I be fighting, man. When my lights go out, when I'm talking about my when we have a light bulb go out, I try my best to stay away from them LED lights. Now you notice if you go into Walmart like I do and I need to get some light bulbs, you notice the majority of that light section, the light bulb section, is all LED lights. You notice that? And the incandescent lights, that section gets smaller and smaller and smaller. But guess what? I still be getting them. And I'll be grabbing them. I was in the store the other day. Make sure when you go in the grocery store, make sure you go in the back near the bathrooms, because they always have a section back there of stuff that they're about to throw out. And typically in that section, sometimes you'll find very good deals on things like light bulbs, those incandescent light bulbs. That's one thing I found. So yeah, you go back next year, you go to your grocery store, you go in the back. Typically, now I've never seen it at Walmart, but in the grocery stores, stuff they're about to throw out, but they still like mark it down ridiculously low. I've gotten a bone broth, some high quality bone broth that was selling for like $7 a bottle or something like that. I was getting it for like $2 or $3. I mean, we were cleaning up. And then light bulbs, you will also find that as well. You'll find incandescent light bulbs. I found a whole bunch of them. I was grabbing all of them. So anyway, I guess these lights are getting the message now. They get mad. You see how dark I'm getting. That's okay. Hey, you gonna get this work. But anyway, so just know that about incandescent lights and why it's so important. So if you, next to your bed, you got your little lamps and that you use before you go to bed, they may look cute and all that stuff. But keep the lamp. Just switch out that light bulb and make sure you get an incandescent one. An incandescent one is it's going to be much better for you, and it's not going to mess around with your natural cycle, your sleep cycle. This is another reason why you have a lot of people who suffer from not being able to, they just stay up, sleep, and they deal with insomnia where they just can't go to sleep because these lights, the high frequencies that they're broadcasting to you and your brain, it always keeps you active. You're always active, right? And you just always be just into stuff. Okay, what are they saying now? Oh, they saying this. He got shot. What happened? What? You just always, and it's not just the information that you're reading, it's also the information that you're receiving that you don't realize that you're receiving. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's coming from LED lights. All right, LED. Same thing with these big old screen TVs. When you're getting these big old screen TVs and stuff like that, they like, oh, it's LED, so the quality is so much better. Okay, yeah, that may be the case, but you still getting your brain is receiving additional information that you're not aware of. And this is what I want you to be very aware of. And please take what I'm saying extremely seriously. Now, I'm not telling you got to throw out your TV. That's if you want to. I know for myself, we have an LED TV. I have watched it, quite honestly. I don't watch it. Unfortunately, my computer, the screen itself, the same thing. They're broadcasting all kinds. Every time I'm on this screen, you're getting extra stuff. So you got to, that's why I say start off your day, get a healthy balance of some sunlight, come in, do what you got to do on the computer. Halfway through the day, go back out and get some more sunlight and then come back in. So make sure you're getting a fair balance of that. But if all day, the majority of your day is LED, if you're getting a majority of that, there's going to be an imbalance, and and if you sit back as you're listening to me, that's why I'm dealing with depression sometimes. That's why I be dealing with some of this stuff. That's why these crazy thoughts. There you go. I'm trying to tell you. You understand what I'm saying? So be careful, be mindful of just things just like that, family. Okay, just little stuff like that. Like I said, again, a lot of people were just focused on 5G and all that stuff. I was in the city today, and you see these buildings. I'm like, I don't know how these people work up in there. I mean, it'll be like an office right on the next floor. There's a whole array of 5G towers all around there. I'm like, I don't know how these people do it. But, people do it. But it's not just that. There's a lot of other stuff too, and just as simple as your cell phone, and please, for goodness sake, if you one of these, I'm going to call you something. If you one of these individuals out here that's walking around with the Bluetooth thing in your ear all the time, please stop. That call ain't that important. It really isn't. I try to speak. When I use my cell phone, if someone calling me, I put you on speaker. All right. I put you on speaker most of the time. And if I can't put you on speaker, I'll either call you back or, when I can or something else. But I use my earbuds. I use the ones that are wired, I use that, but I don't do no Bluetooth. I use Bluetooth in the car sometimes, but most of the time I'm using my earpiece that has the wired earpiece. They'll be walking out here, and I got some of my older brothers out here. Y'all trying to be all cool. See, y'all don't you cool, but you smart. Okay. You think you're cool because you don't get the earpiece like the Apple one, that little piece that you put in your ear, right? The little white thing. Some of my older brothers, man, y'all be trying to act cool. You get the one that got the, like the call center one. You be walking around. I'm like, bro, that's corny, man. Don't wear that. That's corny. Looking like a deacon, them deacons in the church, they be wearing that. Like like you on a spaceship or something like that. The one that go like this. And, I'll be in the store sometime and I see him and be like, yeah, I'm like, bro, you ain't talking to nobody. Nobody ain't looking at you, man. You look more dated. I'm serious. I see these dudes. It's usually the old brothers. They be wearing them things. Seriously. You know the one I'm talking about. It goes in your ear. And there's a little thing, a mouthpiece that comes down like this. I'm like, come on, man. That's so 90s, man. Come on. But anyway, so make sure you please pay close attention to that, family. Don't let that what I just told you fly over your head. That is extremely, extremely important. All right. Extremely important. Make sure we're doing that. All right. All right. So tonight, we're going to just go over, we're going to touch on there's a lot of news that's going on. Of course, we're not going to be able to cover all of it, but we'll touch some of it. All right, we'll do that. Saturday, I believe Saturday. Man, I don't know, probably about noonish or so. I'll let you know. That's when we'll do our next Samba teaching. All right, we'll do it on Saturdays. Because I know sometimes y'all, because I told you, I said it could be Friday night, it could be Saturday. I don't know. But I'll try to get it on Saturday, but it will be much earlier on Saturday. Okay. So let's just say tentatively, I'll try to do it around noonish. All right. I'll try to do it around noon, 1-ish or something like that. Okay. And then we're going to make them shorter too. All right. We're going to make them shorter. I'll let you know. All right. Because especially now, the stuff that we've been covering, y'all, it's just way too, it's too much. I can't, it's too much to take in. It really is. And you got to, it takes, and you got to process it little by little. That's why I ain't trying to throw a whole lot at people at one time. You just can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to speak of, man, bro, listen, I can take it all. Bring it all. You little, no, it ain't like that. No. It takes time for me to process it. So it's taking time. It's going to take people time, period. You understand? So that's why I have to make it shorter and just boom, 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 hit it and keep it moving. Okay. So yeah. So the next one, we're going to get into it. I've been showing you stuff during the week too on our community page. This week we have been looking at, more and more, man. I mean, we're just discovering a lot of stuff here as we're just taking an honest look, at the Bible. We've been looking just historically, been looking at it and, where the basic writings of the Bible, where it came from and all of that. I've had some people try to explain it away. You can't explain this stuff, man. You can't explain this stuff away. And what we found, like in this post here, for example, because I was like, listen, apparently the biblical Hebrews did not have paper or pencils in the promised land. Now, the Hebrews at this time supposedly were well within the promised land, within Israel, according to what has been told to us. However, when you look at the writings, all the biblical writings, they're not finding them in Israel. Guess where they're finding them? In Egypt. So the Septuagint, for example, the Septuagint is the Greek translation of the Old Testament that was written in written in the original Hebrew. I don't care what Bible you got. Well, I got the Sefer Bible. It don't matter. All of them are based off of the Septuagint. And like I said here, before someone says, well, I got the 1611 Bible, you got to go with that one. Well, the 1611 King James Version, they have a special section in there where they say they give a lot of thanks to the fact of to the Septuagint. Well, guess where the Septuagint was written? It was written in Egypt. Now wait a minute, now why they couldn't write it anywhere else? They ran out of pencils or something? They didn't have any printers or something in the promised land? I don't understand. The New Testament. They say and I have another one here. The New Testament found in a letter written by a bishop in Alexandria. What we know today is the New Testament. It was actually found in Alexandria or in Egypt. All right. It was first canonized in Northern Africa. All right. Then it was canonized again later on. All right. So, yeah, you can look all of this stuff up. That's why I tell people to do. Don't be just like I had to tell someone today. I said, listen, I don't mind you leaving a comment, man, but don't respond or react just on your knee jerk. Look at this stuff. Don't just say something. Just look at it. And once you look at it, if I'm wrong, then put the facts there. Don't just, the Gospel of Philip. Some people are like, man, I got these extra biblical texts, man. You got to check this one out. I'm telling you tonight, you better make sure you're checking the source and where these things were written too. All right. The Gospel of Philip, the Gospel of Mary. Some people call it the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. Now, Philip and Mary, there ain't nobody named no Philip and Mary in Egypt. Or Thomas, right? The Gospel of Thomas. Also, the Gospel of the Hebrews. You hear of that one? All of these were written in Egypt. All of these were. And they even have one, it's called the Gospel of the Egyptians. Did you hear that one? All of these things they finding in Egypt. Why all this stuff they finding in Egypt? All of it. When it comes to the written text. Pretty much all of our biblical text was written in Egypt, pretty much. All right. And then here, I did a part 2 today. Let me see if I can, is this, okay, let me make this bigger here. Ancient biblical texts discovered in an Egyptian mummy mask. Uh-oh. A fragment of what could be the earliest copy of the Gospel of Mark, the oldest of the four canonical Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and central to the belief system of Christianity, is set to be published after being discovered in the face mask of an Egyptian mummy. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute here. Huh? What the heck? Anyway, let's continue. Here's another one. Fragment from the world's oldest Bible found hidden in an Egyptian monastery. There's another one here. Now, this one was found in what they will say is Northern Africa, right? So we'll just say Egypt area, because sometimes they won't say Egypt, they'll say Northern Africa. Discovery of a hidden Bible. This one just came out. Discovery of a hidden Bible chapter written 1,500 years ago is fascinating and could provide key insights into the earliest translations of the religious texts, experts say. So basically what they did is they put it under ultraviolet light, and they found that, because this was written on, when they write things back then, one of the things they would write it on is animal skin. Now, animal skin ain't like you can go to Staples and say, okay, you can just easily get it. It was very expensive. And if you made a mistake, you better figure out on how to erase it and get it right. So what they found was they put it under ultraviolet light, and they was able to see where the writers of these books in the Bible, where they said, oh, snap, I done wrote 2 chapters and I wasn't supposed to include that. Let me erase that and let me put this on here. So they're catching even that kind of stuff. Again, in this case, this was found in Northern Africa. All right, here's the other one. Now, we've heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? Well, the first Dead Sea Scroll was found in Egypt 50 years before the Qumran discoveries. So all this stuff is coming up in Egypt. Here's another one. The oldest, most complete Hebrew Bible created by a scribe in Egypt 1,100 years ago is going up in the auction. And experts say it could fetch a staggering $50 million. So all I'm going to say to you is this, is that we need to, this is why we're doing the series, Who in the L Are You Following? This is why we're encouraging people to do your own research, okay? Do your own research and go where the facts lead you. That's all we're telling people to do. All right? We are not encouraging or telling people you got to worship this God or follow this goddess and all this other nonsense. No. We ain't doing any of that. Instead, what we're telling people is, listen, we got to deconstruct the stuff that has been told to us, and we got to look at this stuff and let the facts stand for what they are. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's truth in what we've been told. Yes, there are. You're going to find truth in it, but there's a lot of things in it that's on some other stuff that we have convinced ourselves over the years that it's okay. But no, in this time right now, we can't just accept everything for what it is. All right. So yeah, I would encourage you, the articles, I've given you all the articles, those articles, look at those posts. If you want to read the entire article, do a search for yourself. Okay. I'm not going to be doing everything for you. I've given you all the articles. I've given you links. And so I would encourage you look that up for yourself. We got to get out of this thing where we're waiting for someone to tell us what to believe. I ain't telling you to do jack except to do your own research, pray, seek him, and follow him. Don't follow me, follow him. Do you understand what I'm saying? Follow him at the end of the day. But only what you're going to get to me from us, at least on this platform, is that we're going to try our best to make sure that we're looking at everything from all angles, and that's all we're doing. All right. Someone said they could have put those in Egypt on purpose to confuse you. No, they did not. Because if you do the history, this is why I tell you, you need to look at that for yourself. Okay. Don't react based on what you just heard. Take the time out and look it up yourself. Because if you follow the history of that stuff, a lot of that stuff predated what you have in your hand today. Do you understand what I'm saying? It predated it. And if it predated it, you can't just say that. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's looking very sus if it predated it. So that's why I'm saying, again, you got to look at it for yourself, because I know I got some people out here too that say, well, maybe the fallen ones, they snuck up and they went in further in time to confuse people. Then because they knew that the Most High was going to do this anyway. So they got in a time machine and went to the future and all this. I'm like, y'all, whoa, wait a minute. Do you got any facts to back that up, or you just making that up? So that's why I tell people, look these things up for yourself. Research for yourself. All right, don't be in your little corners, be gossiping and, I know he off on some stuff. Look it up for yourself. Look it up for yourself. Look it up. Sis, Miss Renee, you said, so we're not the people. Look it up for yourself. Look it up for yourself. All right, that's where the journey starts. I encourage you, again, look up, start with the series, Who in the L Are You Following? Start off with that. And that's where the journey begins as far as we're concerned here. All right. So start that. And yes, do your research, because the conversation doesn't start in the chat. I'm just talking to people just in general. It starts with you as individuals taking the initiative and looking these things up for yourself. And it's not just for that, it's for everything, family. We got to move away from being a people waiting for someone to tell us what to believe, to being a people that's going to investigate for ourselves, look these things up for ourselves, and go from there. Okay, that's how it's got to be. All right, nobody's going to beat you up because you come up with a different conclusion. You come up with a different conclusion, then so be it. Okay, it's fine. It's okay. But at least you can say, you know what? I'm here because this is something I've looked this up myself. I've certainly been praying. And I ain't looking up doesn't mean you're looking at hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos. That don't count. All right. Some of it's going to require you to sit your behind down and read. Yes, read a book, read several books, and then cross-reference that book with some other books, and then pray. And then you may spend a week in silence where there's no books, where it's just you and the Father and the Most High. And you sitting and you're saying, okay, Father, I've heard all of this stuff. I'm listening to all these sources here. What do you have to say in the matter? Show me what the truth is in this, because right now I don't know what to believe. You understand what I'm saying? That's how it works. But for you to look for a consensus in the chat or in the comment section, you're going to be deceived. You're going to deceive yourself. All right? Don't be looking for no consensus, because truth is a lonely walk. It's a lonely walk. And a lot of times it ain't going to be a truth. A truth isn't established by consensus. Let me say that again. Truth isn't established by consensus. You understand? It's either truth, because the majority of folks may not like the answer and will say, run from it. But when you look at it yourself, you may say, well, wait a minute, the house is on fire. You know what I'm saying? So you may not like the fact you want to have church in the house that's on fire. I don't want to go up in there. You understand what I'm saying? So understand that. All right. So it's time to come up. It's time to come up. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to get y'all come on up. You understand what I'm saying? Because in these times right now, we're going to need to be able to hear from him clearly. And in order for us to do that, there's a lot of lies we're going to have to get out of the way. There's a lot of stuff. And I'm going to tell you, some of it's going to be very painful. It's going to be hurtful. It's going to be confusing at times, but you're going to have to do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're going to have to do it. So anyway, so that's my encouragement to you with all of that, family. Please do it. All right. Let's see here. So let me go ahead and move on to the next thing here, which is Samba Tree. Was it Samba Tree? And then we're going to get to the news really quick here. Okay. We'll get to that. Samba Tree. I thought I had it up here. Well, as you can see right now, I got it up here. I've been doing these chia seeds, man. Now I've been peeking at over the shoulder of my, my wife, and then my daughter starts doing it. And I've seen people doing it, and I've gotten the chia seed drinks as well, every now and then, but I didn't really know what I was drinking. And I didn't really know all of that. And honestly, I didn't take the time to look into it until I started looking at it myself. And I was like, wait a minute, I've been sleeping on this stuff. Now, some of y'all already on this stuff. I'm just getting on board with this. And man, let me tell you, I've definitely noticed a difference. And I'm not just saying that because we're selling it. Okay. You can buy it. If it's in your store, get it. Okay. I'm just saying, make sure you add this to your drinks. Okay. One of the things I've noticed too is that it's giving me a little bit more energy. Number two, is giving me the fiber that I'm missing in a lot of the foods that I'm eating in this American diet. Okay, so the fiber is very, very important that you need to make sure you add into your diet. This is a great way of doing it. It's a very simple one, and it doesn't have a lot of flavor to it at all. It doesn't. Matter of fact, I don't taste really anything, but I just something I add to my water. I'm adding to my sun tea. I'll be talking about that too soon. Thank you, Perry's. I saw that y'all sent me something about that. And I'll look at that. I'm gonna look at that later. But anyway, we talked about this. But anyway, we got links on chia seed fresca drink and how to make one. And I think Nicole, she's gonna make a pudding. Okay, we're gonna try that one in house anyway. Let me see here. So he goes down here the list here. Chia is typically easy to digest when prepared properly and can be a versatile ingredient that works well in a variety of recipes. Plus, the seeds offer a long list of important nutrients, including fiber, protein, manganese, calcium, antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids. Not only that, but recent research has found that the chia seeds benefits are even greater than scientists initially realized. They've been found to help promote healthy skin, reduce signs of aging, support for digestive system, and build stronger bones. And so and we got a whole breakdown here of all the different things here. So like I said, again, we're now carrying chia seeds here, but if you, it's $8.75, but if you don't buy it from us, that's fine. We ain't going to be offended by that. Just make sure you're including it in your diet, all right? And then not only that, and while you're at Samba Tree, make sure you take the time and look at all the other offerings that we have here. Everything from different teas. I think she just added some other stuff here, the lemon essential oil. We just added that as well. And then and all of these products that we have here, we put a full list of all the things that we all the descriptions of what they do and how to use them and all that kind of stuff here. Everything from food seasonings to bitters, for body creams, essential oils, teas. We got even jewelry on here, and we're adding stuff here literally every month. So the website, again, I have it on the screen on the bottom left. It's sambatree.com. Check it out. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do now, let me take a short break, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into some of this news here. In the meantime, I got my sun tea here, and you see I added my chia seeds to here. So I'm going to enjoy some of this and just for a little bit. And then when we come back, we're going to get into some of these news items. Okay. You're listening to Off Plantation Radio right here on YouTube, and also simultaneously being broadcast over on mybondtube.com. I'll see you in a moment. All right, we're back. Thank you so much for tuning in to Off Plantation Radio. Again, like I said, we're broadcasting not just here on YouTube, but we're simultaneously broadcasting over on mybondtube.com. And again, thank you guys for your support on that platform. We really appreciate it, because that allows us to have a platform where we can have all kinds of things up there, from documentaries to movies to news items. A lot of stuff that may be banned on other platforms, we're able to have there on that platform there, so that you can access it and you can use it for whatever. A lot of it you can download to your own hard drives to your own computer, and you can share it with whomever, wherever. And that's what that platform is for. It's for you. You understand what I'm saying? So that we can effectively get the message out of different things that are out there, especially in the area of health and wellness, and just a lot of other things that are out here too. So but again, big shout out to each and every one of you who are who have supported and supporting that platform. We really appreciate it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, and many of you, okay, of course a bug gonna have to come in. I know we're in that season now where these bugs start coming up in here. Okay, so by now I'm sure numbers of you have heard this whole nonsense about, hold on, let me see if I can get that John here. Hold on. Dang. Okay, I thought I could get it. Anyway, by now I'm sure many of you have heard about this upcoming documentary regarding Freaknik. Okay. Some of y'all old enough to remember Freaknik. I'm certainly am. And in fact, I not only remember it, I was there, but I wouldn't get my freak on. No. And I ain't just saying that. And I got a cloud of witnesses to prove that. We were actually going there. We were part of a youth ministry, and we were down there basically preaching. We were doing some street preaching, and we had a step team. We had our own step team that was going out there. And the brothers, we were down there to kind of watch over because it was some young ladies and a couple of young men. But the older brothers, we were going down there with them, to kind of like watch over them and protect them in case something crazy happened. And also we were down there to talk to some of the brothers down there too that we saw that was, acted a fool and acted crazy down there as well. And man, I'm gonna tell you, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. How people were it was carrying on, how people were our people. These weren't no immigrants, because I know some folks they ready to jump and say they were the immigrants. No. These are black folks, okay, down here, okay? And then we were acting a fool. I'm speaking as a witness, okay? I was there, all right? I'm telling you firsthand, and I also got secondhand experience too, a witness as well of the things that were going on there. For those of you who are familiar with the layout of Atlanta, pretty much, you have Atlanta. Surrounding Atlanta, you got a highway, that's 285. 285 is a loop. Like I said, it just goes around the entire city. It got so bad, the city said, we're going to have to contain this. So they shut down all the exits. One year, they shut down all the exits on 285 so people could not come off of the highway. On one part of 285, you have Interstate 75 that goes to Tennessee. Cobb County, which is up in that area, they said, nah, don't bring that foolishness up in here. Shut that down too. So if you were on the highway during that time on 285, it was just a lock. You weren't going anywhere. And so what our folks were doing, unfortunately, they would turn 285 into one big club, because you have our folks that were on, there were some cases where you had people on top of cars having full sex, y'all. Okay. I'm telling you what it was a known fact. This was going on back in the 90s. Okay. You had women, pulling up their stuff and all of that. And people were in other cars cheering them on. You had all that stuff. Now that was just on 285. Okay. And then when you get into the city, then there was a whole nother situation down there. All right. It wasn't too much of people trashing, stores and nothing like that. You didn't have that kind of stuff, but it was just a lot of foolery. Let me just say this. Okay. And I was saying this on another broadcast I did. Family, I hate to use this descriptor. I really do. I really, really do. But I have nothing else to point to. I really don't. I don't. It was literally, at some point it got so bad. It was literally like the planet of I'm sorry. It literally turned all the stereotypes these people put on us. We took it and literally made it into entertainment. I'm telling you, right, it was that bad. It really was. I don't be calling our people that, but it was family. It was bad. It was really bad. There were cases of, also you had cases of women being raped, and the cops couldn't get to them because there was so many people surrounding them. I saw cops chasing our people down. I'm talking about brothers that were just acting the fool and just hooting and hollering. They saw some women, and then you had, black women who walking around with their clothes, all that, very exposed, knew what they were doing, right? Now, again, this wasn't giving excuse for them to get raped. No. Nobody's saying that. But I'm saying I'm seeing with my own eyes, them walking around like they just came off of the pole, knowing the reaction they're going to get. And all these brothers out there had their cameras out there. We didn't have cell phones, really wasn't a thing back then. It was the big old Magna box. And the big old cameras, those cameras, right? And they were just filming it. You know what I mean? And these girls knew what they were doing. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm talking cases where the women were not getting attacked. I'm talking cases like that. But what I'm telling you is there were also cases, unfortunately, where women were getting raped. It got that bad. And it was the worst of our people. It really was. And I know people don't like talking about it because they're like, oh, that was in the past. But it's what we saw at Freaknik set the stage for the stuff that we see today. In a lot of these things, like, and some of y'all old enough to remember Bike Week, Black Bike Week. Again, now when you go back to Freaknik, the way it started as it was just like a cookout. It was like just a cookout at it wasn't I don't think it was Piedmont Park. It was some park. I don't think it was Piedmont Park, no. But it was a park it was somewhere in Atlanta where they started, where, people who were on spring break, they got together and said, man, we just going to have a party. But remember, family, remember, like I always tell you, if you want to understand the origin of a thing, you got to go back to its root. If you call it Freaknik at the beginning, what do you think it's going to evolve into? A Freaknik. That's what it's going to evolve into. So all these stories about, it was just a bunch of people got together. We just having a good old time and all that stuff. Then it came into something else. It wasn't surprising, family. If you're going to call it that, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? If you call it that, what do you think it's going to evolve into? You understand what I'm saying? And so it got really bad. But then what happened, it got so bad, it got out of control, where the mayor was like, you know what? What we're going to do is we're going to try to counter this. We're going to try to get ahead of this, because this thing, when I tell you it blew up, it blew up. It blew up. It was like out of control. They couldn't handle it. And so that's what led to, like, again, for my folks who are familiar with Atlanta, like Sandy Springs, that area, there was a few other areas that were like, listen, I know we were part of Atlanta, but we don't want to be a part of Atlanta anymore because this is just out of control. And Freaknik played a big role in these cities wanting to annex themselves away from Atlanta. Now, people, want to look at Sandy Springs and Buckhead and want to say, oh, they just a bunch of racists out there. No, when you look at the history, you'll understand why these folks said they ain't want nothing to do with Atlanta. I'm not saying they had no racism involved in that these people don't like black folks, but I'm telling you right now, keeping it 100, our folks gave them a lot of reasons why they wanted to annex away from Atlanta. So I've heard people try to spin that like it's just a bunch of racists up in these towns and stuff like that. You gave them a lot of reasons for that. So let's keep it. Ain't too many people going to talk about that angle. I'm telling you stuff I saw with my own eyes. Okay. And I love my people, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay. I'm going to tell you the truth. And, but there was all kinds of stuff that was happening. So anyway, so the city said, okay, we're going to change this we're going to call it, I think it was like Black College Week or something like that. Right. And I think it was down in, I don't know, for my Atlanta people, you can tell me, they still have the World Congress Center, the Georgia World Congress Center. I don't know if that's still up or not. I don't know. But So they were at the Georgia World Congress Center. That's when they started having like a job fair. They said, we're going to do a job fair. We're going to do some other things like that and try to keep it more on the up and up. And sadly, once they started going that direction, that's when black folks start deuces. I ain't going down there. Anything that's about uplifting and you moving ahead, oh, we ain't got nothing. The crowds just dispersed. I ain't saying black folks didn't show up at all, but it dispersed greatly once they did that. Because then I think what happened is they tried to, once they kind of crushed that whole Freaknik thing in Atlanta, then they moved it to another town. It was somewhere else. I think it was in Florida, I think. They tried to do it there. And that town was like, okay, we're going to give you one opportunity. And of course, they turned that up. And then they said, nah, we shutting this down too. So they shut it down again. So that, like I said, again, that was Freaknik, but you also had Black Bike Week too, which was the same thing. And it just was, it was just something, you know what I'm saying? And so, but I'm glad that you had these towns that stood up and said, enough is enough. We don't want our people to look like this. We don't want the nation to think that all black folks are down like this. You know what I mean? We get down like this. And like I said, the truth be told, a lot of those people weren't students. Okay. A lot of those people weren't students. A lot of these people were like locals. A lot of these people were adults, grown, dusty behind folks that were just trying to get in the mix and trying to get their video on and all this stuff. And like I said, the dumbest thing our people did, and we still don't. This is what I don't understand. I don't get this. I literally do not get this. Someone help me. Please help me. You're going to do something dumb, right? You're going to do something crazy dumb. And so what do? Something that, I'm in college and this is very stupid. So so I'm going to do something crazy, but not only am I going to do something crazy, I'm going to videotape myself doing something crazy. And why the heck would people do that? But people do it. We were doing it then before Twitter. So there's a lot of VHS tapes around here of Freaknik. There's all around here. I have some tape. It wasn't no crazy stuff. It was of the step team actually. And if I can find it, it might be in my storage. I'm gonna have to dig hard for that. Cause I do have a lot of VHS tapes. But I'm gonna have to dig hard. I hope I can find it. I really hope I can find it because I do want to show the positive that was going on. You did have some people down there doing some stuff down there. So that's gonna be some deep looking. But I know I have it somewhere. I know I have it. But anyway, but yeah, we're filming it and recording it, and there's nothing in your mind like, you know what? Man, this is gonna be crazy. If this ever sees the light of day, it ain't gonna go well for me. Well, then comes Twitter, and guess what? We doing the same doggone thing except on Twitter. I'm gonna rob a bank, or I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna punch this person's lights out. Look at me, and it's like, bruh, you don't know. You see how they go after Karens. It'd be some white woman that you never seen before. And all you got to do is post it on social media. Next thing you know, they done went through the public record. I don't know how the people do this stuff. They done gone through their public records. They got birth dates. They got license numbers. You got all kinds. Next thing you know, the person gets fired. But now all of a sudden, guess what's happening? Now it's all coming back. It's all coming back, ain't it? It's all coming back. And it's so bad now. Anyway, so I'll get to it in a moment. I'm going to get to this news in a moment. Now, so you got people out here. Now, again, as I tried to give you kind of a just what it was. I mean, what Freaknik was. I kind of painted a picture. I mean, you just had black folks, period. It was male and females acting crazy. You had crimes that were being committed. You had sexual assaults that was happening. That was true too. But you also had a number of women too that were doing some crazy things down there too. You understand what I'm saying? And that's also very, very true. All right. But if you listen to how I described it, it's on both sides, right? So I'm glad it's coming back up, and I'm glad folks are legitimately concerned because, see, again, you want to move forward, you got to address that mess. You real. You gonna have to give an account for that. Why? Because until you give an account for that mess, you have no footing from a moral perspective on telling these children today to stop acting up in the street. Because guess what? There's people in my generation that still try to act, got still Freaknik in them. Freaknik may not be happening now, but they still got Freaknik in their hearts. And they still be out there today. I see some of these people old as me. Be on TikTok, I'm like, sis, why nobody wants to see all that. Be thirst trapping and everything. And I'm sitting up there like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway. But it happens. But family, listen, you can't go with the whole, well, white people do it too. Stop doing that. Please stop. Well, in their spring break, they act crazy too. I ain't white people, and stop comparing yourself to them. Okay, that's them. Okay, they do it. White people do a lot of crazy things. That don't mean I'm sitting up there, well, they do it too. So, hey, don't be getting on us. I don't care what they do. I care about what we do. You understand what I'm saying? And when we do need to have that, we need to have this conversation and talk about this stuff, right? So, but here's the thing, but you can't have the conversation, a fair conversation, that's going to lead to solutions if you got people in the conversations that have ulterior motives and want to further divide us as a people. Who am I talking about? Case in point, Mark Lamont Hill. I'm going to play for you a video of Mark Lamont Hill. Some of y'all are very familiar with his name. He's a Philly native, but this is a dude that has a history of going after black men. He be going after black men. His favorite word is hyper masculinity. He loves using that word. There's a lot of hyper masculinity out here. He always be using that word, always throwing that word around because he's got an issue with men. And I think he's a Kappa too. I don't know. Someone could tell me. He's definitely fraternity, but he's got an issue with black men. Always got to turn an issue into black men. I want to show you this video here. This is him, Mark Lamont Hill, doing what Mark Lamont Hill does best. And I want to show you, I want you to hear what he's saying here and how he's turning this whole situation now. And now it's just about black men. Take a listen to what he has to say on this and his take.
A lot of noise is being made about this Freaknik documentary. A whole bunch of people talking about whose names and faces and voices and bodies are going to show up on this video from the 90s. And most of the conversation is about whether or not women will be exposed on this documentary, whether people's mamas and girlfriends and wives and daughters are going to show up in a Freaknik documentary. And I hear you. But that's the wrong issue. Look, I was outside in the 90s. I've been to Freaknik as an aspiring young journalist covering the story, of course. And when I was there, I saw what was happening. It's not just about women being half naked. It's not about women's hypersexuality. No, Freaknik is about men ogling, men fondling. Freaknik had a lot to do with male hypermasculinity and sexual violence. Freaknik is a rape fest. It is a sexual assault fest. That's not the only thing going on out there. I'm not trying to demonize or pathologize black people. But if we're talking about the worst parts of Freaknik, it wasn't about the actions of women. It was about the disgusting actions of us men. And so when you watch Freaknik, you don't need to be worried about mama, daughter, sister, girlfriend. You need to be worried about brother, son, husband, or yourself, and whether or not you were engaged in some of the worst parts of patriarchal culture, whether you were part of the worst parts of rape culture and misogyny and sexual violence. When we talk about Freaknik and the way we talk about Freaknik, it's a representation of all the problems we have in a society.
Okay, so we're gonna say. So you heard what he said. The worst parts of patriarchal culture. I'm telling you, this dude here, bro, ooh. And he's right across the bridge too. I'm telling you, don't let me catch you on Market Street, brother. He said the worst parts of patriarchal culture, meaning men. The women, he's saying, well, y'all got something to worry about, whatever, but it's really these men folks that was really doing stuff. I told you again, and like I said again, I know I got a lot of folks up in here, or some of y'all at least, you went. I saw some of y'all in the chat say, yeah, you went to. Oh no, it was sisters down there too that was acting crazy. Okay, So, but I ain't putting it on the sisters only, and I ain't putting it on the brothers only. It was both sides of it. And if you're going to have a fair conversation about this whole thing, you better talk about it in totality. You understand what I'm saying? Why say it's just the worst parts of patriarchal culture, but not matriarchal culture? Why not say that? You got to look at both sides of this. So let me show you. But here's the interesting thing about this, Mr. Mark Lamont Hill. It ain't the men who are really worried out here. Check out this article here. Now, this is on News One. Prominent black professionals sue Hulu over the 94 Freaknik documentary release. The release of Hulu's documentary about 94 Freaknik celebrating its upcoming 30th anniversary has Gen X up in arms. Many of the 90s college students are now in their 40s and 50s and in their prime of their careers. Now check this next sentence out here. A group of prominent black professional women, we didn't say men, women, plan to sue the streaming company and block the film's release. Wait a minute, Mr. Mark Lamont Hill. You just said it was patriarchal culture. You said it's the men. Based on concerns about what could potentially be exposed, they are filing a lawsuit in Atlanta's federal court against Hulu. The women are saying it's unlawful because they did not sign media releases. Produced in part by Uncle Luke Campbell. You know he's going to be up in the mix. Who tweeted out the doc's announcement last week. Freaknik, the wildest party never told, will also see Jermaine Dupri play a part in the production as well. The choices seem fitting given the link that both artists had in cultivating Atlanta's party scene during the early to mid 90s. And then it goes on talking about all the different people who are going to be in it, okay? All right, so they said this group of women is comprised of one politician, 3 high-level corporate executives, and 1 judge. According to Media Takeout, one of the C-suite executives stated that there are already videos circulating online that show her in an unflattering light. She is married with 3 children, earns north of $1 million annually in her position, and is hoping to block the official debut. The women plan to remain anonymous. More details of the case continue to develop. And then they go on and talk about when it's supposed to be released. Now, again, I told you, and like I'm saying here, this is both men and females. I'm saying if you're going to have that conversation about Freaknik and how crazy it was, this wasn't just a woman's issue. Notice I'm not taking that approach. This was women and men being freaky. But you got people out here like Mark Lamont Hill that always want to find a way to bash black men and say, oh, it was all black men. That's not true. That is not true at all. This was a black community issue. This literally happened in the back and front yard of Martin Luther King Jr., of the civil rights movement. And this stuff's still going on in Atlanta now, to this day. I mean, I can't tell you how many black folks I'm running into like, man, I'm trying to get up out of this town. For real. So what you're talking about are some very systemic issues that, yes, you want to have that conversation? Let's have that conversation. But don't go into the conversation already talking about, well, it's the men. What I sound like, what would I look like sitting up here talking about, you know, those women now, and I'm making it all like these women. It's these women out here. It's all the women. To see if they weren't dressing like that, you wouldn't have. No, nobody's saying that. That's crazy. There's no excuse for that, for treating any woman. I don't care if she's walking around butt naked. Leave her alone. Keep it moving. So no, there was no excuse for that. Did I identify that there were crimes being committed against women? Absolutely, because it did happen. Because why? I was there. I know. I saw the cops chasing down black men who were doing some crazy stuff. I saw that. I witnessed that. All right. I saw that. But what I also saw too were women that were out here promoting that kind of stuff too. Lifting up their skirts, lifting up their dresses. I saw all that stuff. Yup, the same people out here who are elders in the church, who are politicians, who are on TV, all these folks that are in Fortune 500 companies, these same Negroes out here today, now they're scared. And it just so happens that this lawsuit that's in Atlanta, it ain't men that's scared right now. It's really the women, because they know it's true. That lawsuit shuts Mark Lamont Hill all the way down. I'm just trying to tell you. So if you're going to have a conversation about, I ain't scared of no Freaknik, I'm glad it's coming out. I'm glad. And if someone wants to go off on the people that the same treatment that a lot of these people get for doing crazy stuff like that back then, especially if it's unlawful stuff like that, I hope they get called out. I hope every last one. I want it to happen. Seriously, I want to see how people going to make excuses for that kind of stuff. Why? Because this generation needs to see that. They need to see people get theirs for real. They need to see justice. They need to see, you know what, that's crazy. And they need to see, you know what I did as an adult then, that was wrong. And I don't want you to do it. I acknowledge as an adult, I set the tone for the mess that we see happening today. I set the tone for that. We need more of our people, especially in my age bracket, standing up and saying that and acknowledging that, because that's true. Plain and simple, it's truth. You can't get around that. It's absolutely true. So if you're going to have a conversation about Freaknik and all of that stuff and what happened back then and all of that, fine, let's have the conversation. But don't take the path of people like Mark Lamont Hill, who's wanting to divide and pit black men against black women on this. No, that was a whole black community issue. And like I said, again, Atlanta, unfortunately, allowed this thing to go on for a few years. And the only reason I would argue why Atlanta decided to grow a backbone and say enough is enough is because they saw all the white people that was like, listen, you know why? You want to notice the date, 94. That's when it began. It started. Then I moved down there in 95. So it's 95. Guess what was happening in 1996? It was the Olympics. It was the Olympics. The Olympics was happening in 96. And they knew good and doggone well that you're going to have a lot of white people that's about to set foot in Atlanta, and Atlanta's about to get a boatload of money. And the only reason, and I'm telling you, I'm just going to keep it 100. The only reason why Atlanta government got a backbone and stopped it was because of the Olympics. If the Olympics wasn't coming, that none of that would have happened. I'm giving you real talk on this. If the Olympics weren't coming, Spelman and Morehouse, they would not have upgraded those campuses. If you looked at those campuses when I first went to Atlanta, those campuses were atrocious. And even now, when you go down in that area in Atlanta, it's outside of those campuses. I'm telling you, you better watch yourself. You better watch yourself. Now, this is Atlanta. This is Atlanta, Georgia, okay? We shall overcome Atlanta. And I saw, when I first went to Atlanta and I saw the campus of Spelman and Morehouse, I was like, dang, this is Spelman and Morehouse? They looking like this? But once the white man said, we going to have our Olympics down there, they found some money somewhere. They found it somewhere. Someone got together. And they got that money real quick, and they make sure that campus got up to what it's supposed to be. And next thing you know, that campus was beautiful. I'm trying to tell you, it's just really something. It's really something. So, yeah, someone, let me put this up here. This funny here. You say, you need to get your life together and find yourself a woman because you're so corny, and see a therapist and thank you for your support, and you ain't talking about nothing, and have a blessed day. Don't you know how people be somebody, they will cuss you out and say, have a blessed day. Well, your middle name, Craig, Country, that says everything I need to know about you. Yeah, stay in the country, brother. Stay all the way in the country. Anyway, let's keep it seriously. But seriously, we have to have these conversations because I'm telling you, I saw how this thing was unfolding in Atlanta over these years. And that's the only reason why Atlanta, they start finding money all over the place. And you go in Atlanta today, oh, they got the money. But guess what they also got? They got a huge influx of the LGBT stuff. That's what came with it as well. That's what came with the deal. It came with the deal, the huge influx. And John Lewis, he's not with us anymore. He knew it and he pivoted so hard. Well, you know, King, he also marched for the gays too. All of a sudden that became part of the whole thing. I tell you, it's a lot, ain't it? It's a whole lot. But anyway, yeah, but you're a good country, Rebecca. You a different country. Some country need to stay in the country. Some of it need to stay in the country. Anyway, but yeah, that's something there. But here you got these individuals that are so scared. They are so scared that it's getting ready to come out and they're about to be exposed. I want it to be exposed. I really do. And I'm looking forward to it. For real. I hope it does come out. And what my hope is that, because see, you can't demand the other man to be exposed on their stuff if you ain't willing to be exposed. That's not how it works. See, if you about truth, then truth needs to be exposed across the board, period. It needs to be exposed across the board, starting in-house, for real. So yeah, so all that whole conversation about that Freaknik stuff, I just thought it's funny, but it ain't funny, especially when you have people like Mark Lamont Hill out here acting, wanting to spin it on men, because that's dangerous when you start going that way. When you start going that route, that's very dangerous, and he definitely needs to be called out on that. For real, for real, for real. So what we're going to do now, let's take another break here, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about this other individual out here. There's a preacher out here, but we're not going to talk about it the way you think we're going to talk about it. Because here, we ain't gonna just be jumping on the bandwagon and just beating up folks, because we don't do that here. It's about introspection too, all right? You're listening to Off Plantation Radio. We're gonna take a short break here, and when we come back, we're gonna get into this a little bit, all right? So I'll be right back with you in a moment. All right, we're back. Thank you so much for tuning in to All Plantation Radio. Just a quick reminder to you that every other Friday we have a broadcast go up over on WONI Radio. It's called Issachar Online. And check it out there. It's broadcast 3 times a day. Go to WONIradio.com and you will find the schedule when it comes up, because I don't know off the top of my head when it when they broadcast it. Okay, so keep in mind it's broadcasting Central Standard Time. And that's a broadcast. What we do is where we touch on the news of the week as well, but we do it within an hour. And you can check that out. Again, that's WONI Radio. But don't just go over there and listen to what I got to say on Issachar online. But we also have there's many other wonderful people on there that are also have broadcast on there as well. Check it out. Again, go to WONIradio.com. And the other thing too that I want to say is, keep Brother Craig up in prayer. Again, Brother Craig, he is the brother who started WONI Radio, and and he's been really the one that is really pushing that and promoting that and all that stuff there. And he just got out of the hospital again last week, and he was experiencing some pain in his body. He said that the doctors told him that he had a clean bill of health, but he still has some concerns, and so he had to get into he told his wife Merlene, he said, listen, you need to call the ambulance and have them pick me up or whatever, which happened. And they took him to the hospital, and they said, well, we don't see anything, man. But there's still some, so again, there's some health concerns there and all of that. So just keep them up in prayer, family. That's Brother Craig at WONI Radio. And, just be aware of that, because a lot of times you may visit some of these platforms and you don't necessarily see the people behind them, but there are real people behind them. And, there are, like all of us, there are real needs too. And that is something that he is largely carried on himself. I'm talking about WONI Radio. So yeah, one of the ways you can support too is, when you go to WONIradio.com, if you go at the top, it will say donate. So that kind of will help alleviate, because it's just him and his wife. They're both over 70. So these ain't spring chickens. These are definitely some eagles, but these are some seasoned eagles. You know what I'm saying? And so we want to make sure we're praying for them, keeping them up in prayer. And then, at least for WONI Radio, that's not something that he has to continue to, have to solely shoulder on his own. So, all right. So I just want to let you know about that. And we really appreciate the work he's done, and really, really appreciate them and love them very much. So, yeah, I just wanted to let you know, give you an update on that. Okay. All right. So, yeah, that was WONI Radio. Okay. So now let's kind of turn the page here a little bit. Many of you have heard of this week. Man, I tell you, the Easter sermons, I knew they were going to be crazy. Man. These Easter sermons out here, man. I knew they were going to be crazy, man. And boy, oh boy, they're very crazy, man. And I got a whole list of them, family. Let me just start off with this one here. Now, this is a church in Canada. This ain't the main one I'm going to talk about. This is a church. Now, please help me to understand this. How in the world do you tell the Easter story by way of Beauty and the Beast? I don't. Yeah. You heard exactly right. I didn't stutter. Okay. How do you how do you tell the Easter story by way of Beauty and the Beast? I don't know. That's like going to Alabama by way of Hawaii. I mean, how do you do that? I want to go to Alabama to go see my family down there, but the flight that I booked, it says I have a connecting flight in Hawaii. I mean, how is that even possible? But they make it happen. Yeah, you're going to see in a moment here. All right. You're going to see in a moment here. So this is a church in Ohio somewhere, man. I don't know. I don't know, but I want you to take a look. Already, it's already giving weird. All right, take a look at this, all right? Take a look at this. Let's listen.
Which? Who?
Which?
Which who?
Which one he wants to buy an apple?
Ugh. Why would I want to buy an apple from a 100-year-old troll?
I'm not a troll. I'm a beautiful chimpless.
You could have fooled me.
That's the whole idea, you numbskull.
Either way, it doesn't matter. I don't want to buy your silly apple.
Oh, it's no silly apple. This is a magical apple. It'll make you as wise as God. And
Oh, sage stunner, yes, I owe it all to my mother. Hot like summer, gonna make you sweat like that.
Break it down.
Oh, when I look in the mirror, I melt your heart too. I've got that superstar soul, so ooh,
Do the boogie light.
just as I land to my feet. I like the moon, rock with me, baby. The beast, break down the doors. Ah, out of my way. Ah! This is your last chance, Nell. Have it your way. Ah!
Look what we have done. We have killed an innocent.
If I leave here tomorrow, Lord knows it cannot change. Lord help me, it cannot change. Oh Lord, it can't change. Won't
Oh, what did we just watch there? What is going on up in here? I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to begin. A teapot. What? I don't know. And was Belle, is her name Belle, I guess? So was she crucified? I don't. I don't know. I have more questions right now in my life. I got a lot of questions here. I really don't know. I don't know what I just watched. I don't know what I witnessed. Where am I right now? Who am I? Who are you? Y'all, don't ask me because I don't know. I really do not know. I don't. I wish I could tell you. I wish I can really explain and try to piece it together, but I really don't know what we watched. All I can tell you was that was their Easter production. I really don't know. Oh, there's many others, but I'm not going to waste my time with that. So, yeah, that's where we are right now. Okay. Someone said it's demonic. I can't even blame that on the demons. I can't blame that on the demons. So, demons are bad. They're evil. And we get that. But I don't really even know if I can blame that on demons. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah. So that, like I said again, there are others. Someone said, where did the log come from? She's still at the log. I'm all right. So there's another church out here that's been mentioned in the news quite a bit here. This is Transformation Church. Transformation Church is out here. And this is another one. And I'm sure many of you, not all, but I'm sure many of you, because some of y'all stay off the grid, which is a wonderful thing, which you should do. Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. Not that. All right. And I don't even know, even with this. So this is Transformation Church. This is Pastor Todd Wilson. Mike Todd Wilson. I'm blaming Todd Wilson. Anyway, no, it's not Todd we know. No, it's Mike Todd. Anyway, he so he did a Easter production here. And I don't even know, this is another one of those that I just don't have any explanation for. And so, but he does. He has an explanation. We're going to hear that in a moment. But I want to take a look here at his explanation of, we're going to look at this Easter production, at least part of it. All right, let's take a listen here. And I know it's tiny. I'll try to make it as big as I can. All right.
Let me stay back. So you give me a minute and I'll be right back. Got the princess in my dungeon. They said that I couldn't get her. I done got so sick and filthy with envy. I can't free her. Tell me something. Where your balls at? We in Helga and down here we like to talk back. I'm your new leader. I like to keep ya. What you said? I'm the deceiver. Y'all hype me up for this next part. Let's go. Since we have out the kingdom and pot.
Okay. Yes, you saw what you saw. You definitely saw what you saw. Yes, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. But here is, I have him explaining, and then someone else, they're going to chime in, but I'm going to cut that part out. All right. So this is, oh, no, this ain't it. Where did I put that thing there? He tried to explain this. As soon as I can find it here. Let me hold on. Let me pause this for a second. Okay. So this is it. I wanted to make sure I had the right one here. All right. So let me play this one here. This is him giving a little bit of an explanation of why he decided to do an Easter production like that. Okay. So let me kind of play this clip here. And this one is short. Okay. So let me get this up on the screen for you.
2015, I became the pastor, and I didn't know what a pastor did. And so I was meeting with a group of people, and they was like, what should we do for Easter? I was like, I've never preached the Easter message, so I'm not going to start this year. We need to come up with an Easter play. And they was like, all right, let's do it. I said, but it can't be no whack, raggedy. He got up. Like, it just cannot be that. I said, we're going to go right to, and we're going to reach over and grab the people who thought they were nothing, thought that God hated them, thought that they read something he said and said that God won't forgive them. We're going to snatch them back. So I just want to give everybody a disclaimer. When we did Ransom a long time ago, I think they got a couple of pictures I just want you to know we used everything we had. This was back at 15, 19. How many people saw the original Ransom play if you're in the building? Y'all ride or die. Okay, can we just be humble, open, and transparent? We're a hot church. Humble, open, and transparent. How many of us?
Hell is hot too.
Oh, hold on. Okay. Greg, did you hear what he just said? Humble, open. We're a hot church. Humble, open, and transparent. We're a hot church. Humble, open, and transparent. We're going somewhere with this family. Okay, we're not going to go where you think I'm going. Okay. Humble, open, and transparent. I tell you, churches with these names, with these, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I'm trying to find that one here. Is one more because he, let me see if I can find this for a second. Give me just a moment. If I can find this clip here. I'm sure somebody got it up here. Hold on. Okay, because all y'all saw this one. Okay, here it is. Here it is.
Changing something and you.
All right, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. This is the same preacher.
Don't see it clearly yet, but you hear.
Jesus.
And this is where most people would not face Jesus anymore. What most people would do is turn away.
Jesus.
What I'm telling you, is just as he's physically standing here, knowing what's coming, God's saying, can you physically and spiritually and emotionally be able to stand when getting the vision or receiving it might get nasty? I'm gonna say it in a point just like that. Receiving vision from God might get nasty. You mean, God, I just bought, in crazy faith, I just bought my dream car. And now you're going to ask me to sell it back and ride in the hoopty again? Yeah, because the vision I'm about to give you, it might get nasty.
Anyway, so he does this kind of stuff, man. That's crazy, man. Drover Frey said, nah, I ain't looking. I would have ran out of that church. I wouldn't even have been up in there. But some of us, you know what? Take it back. Take it back. When you look back at where he's brought you from, some of us would have been up in there and trying to excuse it and defend it. Let's keep it a buck now. Let's keep it a buck. It's another way. It's one thing when you're away from it. It's another thing when you up in that mess. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I McKay, you're talking about I'm done with you. I didn't do it. Why you mad at me? I didn't do it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my godness. I don't know. I'm trying to make up stuff. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that this dude, that's what he does. This is what he does. And I have one more video. It ain't it's not spit related. All right, it's not spit related. Let me see if I can find that one here. Hold on, let me get that one up here. And then we're going to talk, okay? Got one more here. It's not spit related, but it's quite something here. Oh my goodness, family. Oh my goodness. All right, let me bring this up. What in the world? And see, I'm glad to see sister saying, no, that wouldn't be me. I'll be fighting. I'm glad because see, that brother, he didn't have it in him to sit up there. But see what, okay, anyway, I won't get ahead of myself here. All right, let me pull this up here. So this is him, same thing, same preacher. This is him trying, explaining his view or his take when it comes to gay marriage. Okay, let's take a listen here. All right.
I wish God would have made it so much simpler. There was like A, B, C, or D, like frick. No, I'm serious. As a pastor, like, so what do you think about gay marriage? I don't know.
So when I first,
anyway, so he's the way he's presenting it, and you got to hear the whole clip. I couldn't find it, the rest of the clip, but basically, he is coming on the side of, y'all, I really feel like, because I've heard him on other clips too, like, hey, listen, it ain't really up to me. God made it where, it has to be one man and one woman. There's another clip I have of him as well saying that it's okay. Did I? I didn't bookmark that. Hold on. Let me see if I got another one here. I have one more here. Hold on here. If not, I'll just tell you what it is, what he was saying here. He was saying, hold on, I don't know what this one is. Well, let me play this one too, and then we'll get to what we're gonna discuss briefly here. Okay, all of this is important, family. What I'm doing here. I can't remember exactly what he's saying here, but let me play it. I'm hoping this is what I think it is. All right.
picture out your shirt because you have a picture of your wife in a bathing suit on your shirt while you are preaching.
Instead of as my brother and sister, you look at the person who's walking into the gay nightclub as an enemy instead of your brother and sister. Just because they're doing the wrong thing does not mean they're not in the family. In with it, it's okay. Jesus never reached his potential. Died up on the cross. He said 3 words. He said, "It is finished." What was finished? Not his potential.
Here's another one. A couple of years ago, he posts a video.
Okay, it goes on. The clip I was looking for, he was actually saying that it's okay to have a feeling for other women, even though you may be married, or it's okay for you to have a feeling for other men, you know, because if it wasn't okay, God would not have given you those feelings in the first place. So he's saying that it's nothing wrong with that. So if you're married and you just have a feeling of seeing, when you see this other woman, you just want to be with her, there's nothing wrong with feeling that. So, yeah. So anyway, so there you go. So right now, what you're seeing all throughout social media, people are coming from all over the fruited plain and are coming down on this dude. And they're saying that, you know, basically everything he's saying, it's, how can he say this? This is so anti-Christian. This is anti, you know, the Christian way and all this other stuff, right? And so, I think without really taking a poll, I think most of us can say what this dude is putting out here is definitely not good. I mean, we can definitely say that. Wanea says she couldn't handle that at all. No, I'm going to play some more just for you, Wanea, and you're going to sit right there. You're going to listen to. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing. But here's what I want to say, too. Here's what I'm trying to say, too, because, yeah, I can't take but so much of that dude anyway. First, number one, he's not the only one. And the reason why I started off this segment playing at other church is because I wanted to make that point. There's other churches. Trust me, there's a whole lot of churches. And they ain't just white churches. You got some black churches out here that are putting out some very crazy and strange doctrine. You know, we talked about this week. You saw the videos we posted this week about that guy, Justin Pearson, down in Memphis. You know, he went from, hi, how you doing? I am Justin Pearson. And I'm, you know, he started off talking like that, talking about when he was in college. But his handlers got a hold of him once he graduated. Now he's like, and I see, it's trying to sound like Malcolm. You know, he's the cover band for Malcolm Luther King. He's the cover band. All of a sudden, I'm like, dude, who is you? You know what I'm saying? And so you listen to what he's saying, he's wrapping up all kinds of different strange doctrines and all this other stuff in there. Well, between this preacher that we just talked about, Mike, whatever his name is, this preacher that we just showed you, and many others, when you go back into the history of Christianity, when you go to the foundation of it, on how Christianity began, all this strange stuff that you're seeing, family, it was very present. If you think for one moment Christianity was just these hard set of rules and they didn't do this and they didn't do that, Christianity in of itself at its early stages was an amalgamation of many different belief systems and many different practices and worship of various deities and gods and goddesses and all kinds of sexual practices. If you really want to take a full history lesson of the origins of Christianity, you're going to find all of this weirdness, the same stuff that you're seeing today. This is not anything new, family, when it comes to the history of Christianity. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to keep on telling you. If you want to understand a thing, you have to go to the origin of it. You have to go to the beginnings of it. And so the fruit that you're seeing in these preachers, like I'm showing you tonight, is from the root of their belief system. It is. I mean, some of the crazy stuff. One day, maybe we will do a video and I will take you through some of the very crazy practices that were, during the early stages of Christianity. Christianity was made up of a lot of different religions. Like I said, again, a lot of different belief systems. Let me just say this too. And this is, again, I've said this, man, some of y'all still talking about the spit thing, y'all. I ain't going to play it again. Okay. I'm not playing that. That's disgusting. But this is, I wanted y'all to see because it's crazy. Yeah, it's one thing to hear about it. It's another thing when you see why he had a Hawking do it. I don't understand. But anyway, you can case in point. Now, this is going to cut deep for many of you, but it's very true. The people who put together your Bible was Rome. Okay. The origin of your Bible, the translation of it, it came ultimately and it was approved by Rome. Now, prior to that, prior to Rome getting their hands on it, as we're learning this week, and we'll get into it a little bit more, hopefully this weekend, it came out of Egypt. But Rome is really who had their hands on it. And the translations, I don't care which one you have, the translation that you have today, the versions that you have, I don't care what version it is, came from Rome. Now, why am I mentioning that? I'm mentioning that because when you look at Rome today, what's one of the biggest problems that Rome has been having for a very long time? And that is, one of the biggest problems they've been having, or biggest things they've been involved in, is the abuse of children, the sexual abuse of children. This has been with Rome, not for a few years, but for centuries. Can you imagine having a company for centuries and you've been having the same problem over and over again? Rome has gotten a lot of slack when I say, or they've been given a lot of space to continue on that. They'll come out and say, oh, we're sorry. We didn't mean to do it. We'll figure it out. And it's still in existence. They're still doing their thing. I mean, I can give you story after story after story. Monasteries that they found all over Europe, and they're still finding to this day, where they got hundreds of babies, that their bodies of babies that they're finding buried under the monasteries. There's children to this day by the thousands that are now older people that are now coming to the forefront and saying, Father so-and-so touched me and molested me and did all this stuff. Right? Now, that's Rome. Now, out of Rome came what? The Protestant church, what we call the Protestant church. That gets into the, Martin Luther and all of that. And we've done videos on that. Martin Luther, even though he somewhat left Rome, he really didn't, because a lot of things he brought over to the Protestant church, what we call the Protestant church, a lot of that, the foundational stuff, he still kept. In the Protestant church, what we call today the Protestant church, it really isn't now, because a lot of those denominations have folded back officially back into Rome. Right? We did a video on that as well. Church denominations such as the Baptist, Southern Baptist, Kojic, Church of God in Christ, AME, Assemblies of God, we can go down the list. They likewise have had this serious problem with sexual abuse, especially with the area of children. There was I was looking at, it was about a month ago. I was looking up, I was reminded of, this was like in the 80s. Okay, everybody remembers like Woodstock, right? Okay, so Woodstock was going on. That was like a music festival. Y'all know this. But, the Christian world was looking at that like, we want our own Woodstock too. So they did one like it was called the Jesus Festival, I think it was called. It was one called the Jesus Festival, and there was another one called Creation. I can't remember which one this applies to, but one of them, they were doing it. One of the organizers, he's actually was here in New Jersey. One of the organizers, they caught him messing around with a string of children. Okay. It was a string of children he was messing with. And so they shut the whole festival down. So what my point is that the fruit is going to bear what it is based off of what's on the tree. So when you see all of this stuff going on, with these different churches like that, right? Like in this church, everyone wants to beat up on him. And see, here's the thing that's very hypocritical about all the criticism that these preachers are getting. Like I said, it's justified for sure. But see, the same people that are out here talking about, yeah, look at what he's doing, and that's blasphemous, and he gonna go to hell wide open. Many of the same people that are saying that, how can you do that in the church? Isn't that Beyonce he playing? Some of the same people that are saying that, after they'll go to their church. After church, they get in their car, and guess what they're gonna play? Beyonce. They're gonna play Beyonce. They're gonna play all of that stuff. The same stuff, or they're going to let their children play it all around the house. I'm just trying to tell you. So if you're going to call this dude out, which, like I said, again, the criticism is definitely justified. I'm not defending any of this. I'm not defending it. I think it's crazy. But understand, when you are part of something, when you claim to be part of something, in this case, we're talking about Christianity, and you see all of this strange stuff, and you seeing all of these people now in Christendom now coming out and saying, hey, listen, we got to reach out to our transgendered people, and we got to make sure that they feel welcome and loved. And, hey, Jesus was a tranny too. Don't you know that? Don't you know even God is a tranny? They say this kind of stuff, but you're like, that's blasphemy. But when you look at the history of it, you'll see, well, that's what they used to believe. Now, there may have been centuries that had passed where they weren't saying that stuff then. But sooner or later, that fruit's going to start growing again. Okay? And like, I'm glad, Juliet, good point. I'm glad you brought that up about the Dalai Lama. Y'all saw that stuff, right? I wish I had it up. I don't have it up there, right? The Dalai Lama, you saw this, what was it, last week? Or this week, one of the two. Up there telling a child. Now, I ain't playing that. I'll play the spit video again before I play that Dalai Lama one. Got a little child up there, And he telling the child like, he's sticking his tongue out, talking about suck my tongue. What? A child. And then he tried to pass it off. First of all, he apologized. He was like, well, that's part of our culture. Well, if it's a part of your culture, why are you apologizing if it's part of your culture? I don't understand that. But so I said, you know what? I'm very curious about this. It's part of your culture. Okay, let me look this up. And he's right. It's part of their culture. If you look it up, because what those priests or the Buddhist monks, part of their culture, one of the things they do is something about, he said, you know, it was something to the effect that they stick out their tongue and they'll lick somebody. Lick you. It was a picture I had where one of them was licking someone on the head. Now, come on, back up. Back all the way up. Back that thing all the way up. Hold on for a second. That's how y'all, one of the ways you say, it's like teasing. You know, we just playing around. No, there ain't no playing around. Now, let's back this up here, okay? Let's back this up for a second. I'm done. I'm done after this. There's other things we could talk about. Well, there is one thing I do want to talk about, then we're done. Let's back this all the way up. Now, when you look at the French, for example, you know, when the French, not all people of France, but you know, there are people, when they greet each other, what do? Hey, oh, how you doing? They go, you know, they kiss each other on the cheek. Okay, that's fine. All right. When you look at Eskimos, for example, or the, you know, they do the thing when they rubbing each other on the nose. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's a little strange for me, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing. I mean, I've seen them do that, and it's so, you know, that's their culture. I understand that. But you licking somebody, that's all sexual all day. Don't tell me that if that's your culture, that's a very nasty culture. Well, Dwayne, you can't say that because that ain't your culture. Well, I'm saying it. No, especially with some little children. No, you weird and you off. You need to be under the prison. But anyway, I did a little more investigation. And come to find out, there's an article that I have here. Let me see if I have it on the phone. I'll bring it up real quick here. I think I have it on my phone. If I don't have it, my apologies. I should have thought about this earlier. But there is, yeah, here it is. I got it. Let me pull this up here. I got it right here. Got it right here. Hold on. It's right here. This is back in 2002. Buddhism's pedophile monks. Sex between clergymen and boys is by no means a uniquely Catholic phenomenon. A noted American scholar said Wednesday it has been going on in Buddhist monasteries in Asia for centuries. Of course, this is against the Buddhist canon. You know, Leonard Zillwilling of the University of Wisconsin and Madison told United Press International, but it has been common in Tibet, China, Japan, and elsewhere. In fact, when the Jesuits arrived in China and Japan in the 16th century, they were horrified by the formalized relationships between Buddhist monks and novices who were still children. These relationships clearly broke the celibacy rule, says Zillwilling, who has written extensively about this topic for more than 3 decades and was one of the first to do so. Zillwilling, who also holds a doctoral degree in Buddhism studies, said in the telephone interview, this practice continued well in the 20th century. Although the Buddha clearly prescribed sex of any kind in monasteries, we know of incidents where the members of the Dab, an order of enforcing discipline among Tibetan monks, fought each other over boys. They clobbered each other with huge keys that were the tools of their trade. We also know generations of Dalai Lamas had their favorites, although we have no proof that these relationships were sexual. See, family, let me just stop here. I can go on with this because I want to move on because I've kept y'all on for a while here. This is why I keep telling you, if you are claiming whatever it is, Christianity, Hebrew, your behind, your black behind, your caramel behind, you better know the history of this stuff. I can't emphasize this mess enough. I can't emphasize this. You better know the history of this stuff. You see this circular stuff keep happening, whatever sphere that you claim, and you wonder why some of this foolishness be going on, And some of these assemblies, if you Hebrew, or in these Christian circles, if you're a Christian, you wonder why it happens, because you're part of a tree that's perverted. And these people just go along with this stuff. I was just looking this week. You got folks now, they claiming to be greater than some of the people in the Bible. I'm like, what? When the history is all said and done, you're going to be right along with Moses and Esther and all that. What? I'm trying to tell you what's out here. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to help you. Don't get mad at me. I'm telling you what's out here. But that doesn't just come from space, family. It comes from being rooted and grounded in a belief system that was created in perversion. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what the Dalai Lama did, people freaking out now, but all it did was to take a little history tour. It took me all but what? 7 minutes, 5 minutes to find that article. And come to find out, they got a whole history, this Buddhist monk. Now this dude, this Dalai Lama, he going all over Hollywood. Of course Hollywood is embracing him because he's in on it too. He's in on messing around with children too. You understand what I'm saying? So this is part of the general culture. I was just telling my daughter today, I said, honey, these coming days, weeks, months, and years, we're going to have to fight for these children. We are going to have to fight for these children. I'm telling you, and I ain't talking about just getting online and yelling. I'm talking about we may have to get in some physical fights for our children, for real. We're going to have to get in some we may have to. I'm not condoning violence. I don't do that. But what I'm telling you, when it comes to children, you start messing around with children. If you in my space and I see you messing around with children, you better watch it. That's all I'm trying to tell you. I'm saying that, and I'm going on public record with that. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's going to have to be that, because these devils are coming out in full force now. They just saying it now. They just like, yeah, hey, ain't nothing wrong with going sexualizing these children. They just saying it now. They just going out after them. And you got two types of people out here. You got some people that are staying in the back. Yeah, any given moment, hey, the Most High, he going to take us away to the promised land. So I ain't trying to get involved with these people. And you just looking at your watch. Meanwhile, all these children being taken out left and right. And you ain't trying to do a doggone thing about it. Then you got the other people who secretly are into that stuff. And if you think that white people only is into this stuff, let me tell you, I got articles right now of black teachers, and this just happened this week, who were sexualizing children in their classroom. See, these are conversations I wish I could have with some people, but people get mad. Our people get too mad when you start talking about it. They get too mad because they're like, why are you beating up on black folks? Because the folks I'm talking about, they're beating up on children. What else do you want me to do? So what I'm trying to tell you is this, family. This is why I show you these things, because I want you, and that's why I want to bring that out. What this preacher Todd, what he's doing, it ain't no different than what his ancestors in the faith were doing. It's no different. And in the name of Christianity, they were raping your behind, right? Huh? The people who gave you the Bible, they were raping you. They were killing you. They were stealing from you, right? So if they gave you the Bible and they were using the Bible to justify their stuff, and what they're doing to you, justifying snatching the wives of black men and raping them all night, and then say in the morning, okay, go on, get out of my bed. Using scriptures to justify that. You think now all of a sudden they're going to use, it's like the ring of Mordor or something like that. Like, if I could just get this ring and I could just use it for good, maybe I could use it for good. Nah, you need to take that ring and throw that whole joint up in the fire. I'm trying to tell you. You trying to wield it for good? Nah, this thing been nothing but bad. And folks still trying to justify and trying to make something. No. You got to inspect all this stuff. And this is what I be trying to tell y'all. You understand what I'm saying? You got to do it. So, yeah, even the Dalai Lama, his nasty stinking self, he need to be under the jail, too. He needs to be all the way under the jail for that kind of. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But that's part of our culture, and that's how we greet. No, that ain't just no one-time event. 5 minutes after the search. This has been going on for centuries, according to this dude. He said it's been a huge problem. And then in that article, they said some of the Dalai Lamas had their little favorites amongst the little boys. That's all facts, baby. I'm trying to tell you. And someone said it goes on much in the black church too. You got black preachers left and right. They're getting called out on this stuff, messing around with little children. And the people that up in the church, they sit up there like, well, hey, listen, we all sin. You better get out of my face with that. You better get all the way up in my face on that. I'm telling you, I want some of these churches I want all of them to get shut down, quite honestly, for real. I do. I want all of them to get shut down, especially when you mess around with children. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's crazy, but they're only doing what they're rooted into. This is why we tell people you need to be rooted in him and him only, and you don't need their resources in order to understand how to do that. That's all I'm trying to tell you, okay? So I'm not going to spend too much more time on that. The last thing is I wanted to I talked about this recently here. Let me bring this up. This is a lot of people like to talk about how bad our children are, and of course there's plenty of stories out there that show bad examples of our children, and especially young black boys, and how they're this, that, or whatever. But this is a story, it's an unfortunate one, but I'm very proud of this young man, and it was actually not just him, it's actually two young men that's involved in this story here. Let me get this up here. This is on my I'm trying to see what browser this is on. It's this one right here. Never mind the video. The video has nothing to do with it. 16-year-old dies rescuing kids stuck in an undercurrent in Florida. An Atlanta teen and an older family friend both drowned after a 16-year-old selflessly jumped into action to rescue 4 younger children stuck in an undercurrent while on a trip in Florida last week. Bryce Brooks was with relatives in Pensacola for spring break when his life was cut short after he dove in the ocean to help 4 kids stranded in the ocean, the grieving family said Monday. During a heroic rescue, Brooks went under, and family friends Charles Johnson II went to help the high schooler, but Johnson also died. Brooks' stepfather, Chevy Brooks, said during a press conference that streamed, it was on Fox, the selflessness that it takes for someone to make such a sacrifice to do so only at the age of 16. We're so proud as parents how our son has shown up in this moment. Chevy Brooks says, let it be amplified that Atlanta developed kids that would give up their lives for others that they didn't even know. That they didn't even know. This is a picture of the young man right here. No, honey, Atlanta didn't develop that. It was you and your husband. You developed that. Let's get that right. We ain't gonna credit a city for that. That's you and your husband. That was you and your husband, honey. And he said, Bryce is a hero, he added. He literally saved the lives of 4 kids at the expense of his own life. And the world should know that. Absolutely right. And they said all 4 children at the end of the day their lives were saved because of the decision of this young man. And it was also a family friend that jumped into action. And I wanted to take time to acknowledge this kind of stuff because I wanted to be very clear that not all of our black men, especially our young black men, are out here doing some crazy stuff or on some crazy stuff, because that gets a lot of attention. But no, we need to also shine lights on that this is how, you have young black men out here that are willing to pay the ultimate price, in order to save the lives of others. And this is why I want to continue to do what I do and invest in the lives of these young men. And I want to give, I'm not going to mention your name, brother. I don't know if you're watching tonight, but there's a young brother that's in our men's group, and he let it be known. He said, I'm going to get counseling. He needs some help. There's some help he needs. And he was able to share that with the other brothers and said, hey, listen, I'm getting some professional counseling. And that's wonderful. that was wonderful to hear. And my hat goes off to you, brother. See, it's testimonies like that I'm very glad of, to see our young men that are getting it and wanting to be better men. See, we could talk about Freaknik. We can sit up here and talk about these stories and how bad some of this stuff is. But if we're not willing to put in the work, if we're not willing to work with these young men, with these young women, and show them how they can be better, you know, and be like this young man that I just showed you, you know, who's willing to put it all on the line, you know, then what's the point of it? You understand what I'm saying? Let's not just be a YouTube page where we sit up here just talking about problems. Let's be a people, not just a channel, but let's be a people that's about building better people, because we need that right now. All right. It ain't about the likes. It ain't about the clicks. It ain't about the up and down arrows. I don't give a rip about all of that. What I do care about is seeing our men become better men, and also care deeply to seeing our young women become better women. And that's what we're all about here. And also want to make sure that our people are about the truth. You understand what I'm saying? We got to be about the truth, family. And that's a big way that we can help our people, is to give them the unadulterated truth, even if it's at your own expense. Because there's too many people that are married to falsehoods, and you're afraid to look at the truth. And it's about time we start doing it, because we need to, family. If we don't do it, who else is going to do it? You know what I mean? Now, the only other thing I want to mention tonight is there's a short that I did. I uploaded today, I believe, you know, talking about, you know, just briefly here, you know, it went down the list of all of these people who are over these crypto companies within a month or a month or two. All of them got mysteriously died. And then now we got in May, I believe it is, the United States government, now they're coming up with their own digital currency. And, you know, and the only reason why I bring that up is, you know, just as a firm reminder to you, family, the government system that we live under, family, they don't give a rip about your freaking reparations nonsense. They don't care about that. Do they owe us? Absolutely. But do you think they really care about you begging and pleading for all of that? No, they don't. They ain't about that. The government is vicious and vile and wicked. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so I'm in enemy territory as far as I'm concerned when it comes to where I am, period. And so what we have to do, but that doesn't mean I have to sit up here all hemmed up in a corner somewhere. No, I'm going to still do what I can. I'm going to link up with people who are with the same mindset. We're going to be about ourselves. We're going to develop our own medical system. And we're doing that. We're going to make sure our people are healthy. We're going to make sure our people are informed, and we're going to make sure our people keep their head on a swivel. That's what it's got to be at the end of the day. And that we're spiritually grounded in him without all the lies. And that's not going to happen overnight, family. We're going to have to be patient, and we're going to have to take one day at a time. It's hard. It's difficult, but that's where restoration begins. It begins yesterday. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's how it is, family. So on that note, I'm just going to leave it at that, family. And there's a lot more we can talk about, but I hope you got it. All right. So family, I love you very much. But like we said, we're going to love you enough to tell you the truth. So thank you again for joining us in this broadcast of All Plantation Radio. And I pray that you have a wonderful rest of your evening and a wonderful rest of your week. Okay. You guys take care now.